Ayo, what's good, ladies and gents, or according to YouTube, only gents. Welcome back to another Shouju pool for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis with the new water banner with weapons for Sephiroth and Glenn, and the outfit for Seph, which is the Natant Jacket. Gives him buff debuff and Water Blade Arcanum. He also gets his weapon Tempest, which has a pretty good physical attack. It is physical attack water potency with a triangle sigil boost, and his command ability is 700% physical water damage, and if he has 50% or more HP, lowers water resist by high potency. For Glenn, it's Slay the Day. Another good physical attack, same thing, physical water, and this time it has a non-elemental attack, which is accompanied by an attack boost for water in the support material to make up for it, with an X sigil boost, and the attack lowers enemies' physical defense by mid potency, and the water damage by high potency raises it if you have 50% or more HP. So there are tons of elemental debuffing weapons that actually do elemental damage. You could take a look at these and compare the Tempest to these weapons. But for me, I've chosen two specific weapons. Excuse me, Pressure Ridge for Zack, and I went with Green Megaphone for Ketchi. So let's take a look. Against Pressure Ridge, Pressure Ridge has more R101, so it has more total R ability points, more in boost physical attack. Stats and support material are pretty much the same, and the only other difference is in the command ability, where they are pretty much identical except for the differences in elements, and the one does 700%, the Tempest, whereas Zack's weapon does 620%. Now, comparing it to Green Megaphone, these weapons are practically identical, same primary stat, same R abilities, pretty much the same support materia, and once again, the only difference is in the command ability, and the only difference there is the percentage, 700% to 620. So for weapon synergies, Tempest doesn't have that many existing synergies with Sephiroth's existing weapons. Obviously, you can max out your boost physical attack with Clear Read and get a bunch of limit break potency, which is nice. And then if you combine it with Dark Heavens, you get dual elements with both wind and water, and of course a maxed out physical attack boost. And then finally, not the most insane synergy, but the Shinra military sword. You get max boost attack once again, and you get the semi-dual element, so you have the water from Tempest, and you have the wind buff from the military sword, but not actual wind damage, so you need to use a wind materia for that. Then of course you have the mid-potency physical attack buff from the Shinra military sword, making your Tempest hit a little harder for physical damage. For sub-weapon value, it's a pretty standard R85 ability points, physical attack and water, so it's a good sub-weapon for physical water DPS. Now looking at Glenn's Slay the Day versus Aerith's Floral Wand, I decided to compare this Glenn's new 3 ATB weapon to other similar 3 ATB weapons. So Floral Wand fits that bill, and on top of that I went with Red's Ivy Collar, which also fits the bill for a 3 ATB debuffing weapon. So taking a look, once again, Floral Wand has R101, so it wins out there, having more boost attack. The support material are pretty similar, except they both have elemental boosts. One has a sigil boost, the other has all cure spells. The command abilities do the same amount of damage, they both lower physical defense by mid potency. The only difference is that one lowers wind resistance and the other raises water damage. And of course, Glenn's weapon, actually his buff has a longer duration with 35 seconds, whereas Aerith's debuff for wind only lasts 24 seconds. So you could say a better command ability for Glenn, better R abilities for Aerith. And then we take a look at Ivy Collar. So this time the physical attack stat is a bit higher on Glenn's weapon. They both have, oh excuse me, they don't. Ivy Collar has R101 as well, with a higher primary boost attack, R1, but it doesn't have elemental potency. Again, the support material are pretty much the same. except one has a sigil boost, whereas the other has attack boosts for the elements that it debuffs. So other than that, the one debuffs physical defense and raises water damage, and the other, reds, lowers both elemental resistances. And again, the second buff is longer than reds. Looking for existing weapon synergies, this is quite a bit better than Sephiroth's weapon. You can bring Pumpkin Lamppost, which raises physical attack, and the Slay the Day, excuse me, Glenn always has these crazy weapon names, lowers physical defense, so you can hit a bit harder, but with those two weapons in the main hand, you're not going to be doing much because one's a buff and the one's non-elemental damage. Same thing applies with personal style. You can get level 7 water potency, but neither of them actually do water elemental damage, so yeah, not going to benefit too much there. But the ultimate synergy is with Stream Slasher, especially if you have Glenn's outfit. That is really good synergy. You get boost physical attack for all allies, level 7 water potency with both weapons, and then of course the physical defense debuff and water damage buff from the Slay the Day, combined with the Stream Slasher that already hits really hard, is going to allow you to hit like an absolute truck with the Stream Slasher. And this combination of these two weapons and Glenn's outfit from the limited banner make him by far the best physical water DPS in the game right now. Sub-weapon value, pretty much exactly the same as Sephiroth. It is great for a physical water DPS, and that's pretty much it. That's still good though. So Sephiroth's weapon is a solid weapon. It is actually the only physical water blade arcanum that is not limited, because Glenn's outfit was limited. Of course, Tifa has water blade arcanum, but that's for magic. It also has the highest percentage elemental damage debuff weapon, so others are like 620%, 540%. This one does 700%, so it is the best damaging elemental weapon that also debuffs elemental resistance. And then of course it has the standard 85 total points for our abilities, which is always pretty nice. So a couple of reasons to pull for this weapon is if you don't have a strong physical water DPS like Glenn or Cloud, or if you want a weapon that can both debuff and do water damage in one, this is pretty good for that. Or if you're a whale and you can pull on everything, then sure, go for it. Finally, if you want Sephiroth to be able to be a water DPS, then that's for you. For Glenn's weapon, it is a very good weapon, and it is incredible with Stream Slasher. It has the 4th best physical attack category, kind of like Sephiroth's as well. It has a level 7 water potency with Stream Slasher or Personal Style, but of course with Personal Style you don't actually have water command ability damage. It costs only 3 ATB to do quite a lot, and once again it has the standard 85 total R ability points, which is very nice. Couple of reasons to pull is if you have a high overboosted Stream Slasher, that is the #1 reason to pull for this weapon. It is also good for double physical water DPS, so if you have Glenn and Cloud with Maritime Sword or Sephiroth with his new weapon, you can make a very good physical water DPS team. Once again, if you want to make Glenn your main water DPS, you kind of need to have Stream Slasher, and this will do really well. And finally, another reason is if you just want a weapon that can do a lot in your back pocket, then this will be pretty useful. Final thoughts on Sephiroth's weapon. It's actually, in my opinion, a very skippable weapon. It does double as both a DPS and debuff for water. It's 700% versus the others, as mentioned, which are like 620, 540, so it does a decent amount of damage. And then of course power creep is a thing, so if you look at Maritime Sword, Tempest, Sephiroth's weapon actually has 20 more physical attack stat, and the difference is 50% in the command abilities. So Maritime Sword does do 50% more, but I mean this debuffs water by high potency, so in the end it will do more damage than Maritime Sword. Again, if you already have a high overboosted green megaphone, then this is probably not worth it, because you can just use Ketchi for the same thing. It is great if you actually still need a water resistance debuff, of course, and it is a straight up upgrade to Cloud as a water DPS if you have the outfit as well. because as mentioned, it is 50% less damage, but with the water debuff of high potency at OB6, you're going to be hitting harder than Cloud with Maritime Sword. Finally, I would say in general, I would skip, especially if you're a free-to-play player. It's not really that great. A lot of other weapons can take, its place. I'm happy with just still using Cloud with Maritime Sword. For Glenn's weapon though, it is actually more or less a must pull if you have a high overboosted Stream Slasher. So if you went all in on the Stream Slasher and the outfit, then this is the perfect complement to that. It is 3 ATB to lower physical defense of mid potency and raise your water damage by high potency. So with Stream Slasher, you're going to be hitting like a truck, as mentioned. And yeah, even without Stream Slasher, you can kind of work towards a physical water DPS Glen, but you will need a future weapon if you don't have the Stream Slasher, because neither this nor Personal Style actually do water damage. They do non-elemental. Yeah, Stream Slasher, Stream Slasher, Stream Slasher. They are the perfect combo together. Other than that, it combos really nicely with a full physical water DPS team. So as mentioned, if you have Glenn with Stream Slasher, the outfit, and this weapon, and then you have Cloud with Maritime Sword or Sephiroth with the Tempest, you can have probably the most powerful water DPS team you could possibly build. At least right now. All in all though, it is, in my opinion, an easy skip if you don't actually have Stream Slasher, or you didn't, level Stream Slasher and overboosted quite a bit. And if you have another water debuffing weapon, I would say easy skip. So in the end, that, as they say, is that. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this video. If you enjoyed it, drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop some comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.